So, unfortunately, My Hero Academia is on break this week, but if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know what that means. Yep, it's time for My Hero Academia Team Up Missions Chapter 3 review, and we're about to start it right after this intro. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew here to talk to you about My Hero Academia Team Up Missions Chapter 3, To Who Support. And when it comes to this chapter, ironically enough, this may be one of the funniest chapters of My Hero Academia Team Up Missions so far, if we're not including more of the side stories in the first few stories, because what goes on in this chapter, it's not something big or monumentous. We actually do not get an actual, weirdly enough, team up mission in this chapter, or at least a conventional one, but we do get two amazing characters teaming up together to do something amazing and crazy with Deku. And before we get more into the team up mission, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't done so, to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to be notified for whenever I upload My Hero Academia content like team up missions, if this is something that you're interested in. And now with that out the way, let's get right into the review. So we start off the chapter with Burden, of all people, introducing a female character to the UA high school and saying how she's going to be a great scientist someday and that she has to leave, as we get to see who this young lady is as well as who she's going to be teaming up with, but I'm going to leave that to be a little bit surprised later on. So yes, this female character is introduced to the UA school as we get a reintroduction of the team up missions and how it's basically used to put people with other people that they normally wouldn't do, primarily students with other students around the country for hero missions so that they can gain a little bit more experience. And that this idea is very great as it is able to reunite Midoriya with quote-unquote her, as Midoriya begins talking to All Might, where, oh my gosh, All Might gets attacked as they are approaching the development studio, and who attacked him? Well, it's none other than Melissa Shield, as she has come here to work with a fellow student in the developmental department of UA as a joint mission or a team-up mission in herself, as Deku and All Might are surprised to see her, mainly because they are also here to help Deku modify his costumes, as we are also reintroduced to another fan favorite character of the series, Mei Hatsune, as she's going to be the one working with Melissa Shield. And I think this is probably what I really enjoy about this chapter, mainly due to the fact that we have one scientist who has a different view of heroes and a different view of support items, working with another scientist that also has a different view of hero support. So it's going to be very interesting, and it is very interesting to see how their ideals clash, because now we get more of a proper introduction with them, as Mei Hatsune asks Deku what he wants, and he basically gives her a general idea of how he wants a costume that is a little bit more sturdy and can withstand his smashing attacks, as we get to see Mei Hatsune as well as Melissa Shield beginning to working on different designs to help Deku. But then we come into the main conflict of this chapter, where you have Mei Hatsune, who automatically comes up with a design with her cute babies that doesn't directly go with what Deku requested, while Melissa Shield is basically calling her out on this, like, hey, you know, like, he's asked for this and this specifically, so, you know, shouldn't you probably cater to that? Where Hatsune is like, nope! And the initial conflict comes in where you have Mei Hatsune, who just cares about, like, sort of not necessarily design or what the heroes want, but specifically how her babies or how her support items are there to help, while Melissa is more concerned about how they're going to build support items for specific heroes and how they should be taking their designs into it. And this leads to the initial conflict between them and how they decide that because they have difference in opinions, that maybe they should have a contest and let Deku judge who is like sort of better at creating support items or being able to create a hero suit for him that he's able to use on the job, which, you know, that just seems like the generic, like, girl versus girl, rival versus rival thing, and draws in this unexpected, unbelievable, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, didn't want to be a part of this into it. So yes, we cut over to the next day where they're at the USJ, where they're about to test these different support items with Deku's help that he really didn't want to get involved with. He just wanted his suit to be customized, and that's it. Ah, Deku, you forget, you're the main character. You're gonna be drawn into this no matter what. Just accept it. But he's actually not the only one here, because we also get cameos from Bakugo, Kirishima, Kaminari, and Grape Boy Mineta, as Deku and All Might are very surprised to see them, but unfortunately, they didn't come here for him. They came for Hatsume as well as Melissa, and that makes Deku sad. I mean, yeah, I would be sad too if some of my friends came to see someone else besides me. If I had friends. Sad. But yes, the contest starts off with Mei Hatsume using one of her suits, the Automatic Defensor X, which is basically able to allow Deku to dodge incoming dangers before he can even react. The suit is able to react to them before they even hit him, and he doesn't even have to move himself, which he thinks is amazing, but unfortunately he still gets crushed with a boulder because the battery only lasts 40 seconds, which, to the amazement of Bakugo, makes him laugh. And then we cut over to Melissa's new support item, which is very similar to Deku's old costume, and Deku really questions what's the difference between this costume and his old costume is, where she basically explains that, oh, it can weather the rain, the snow, the cold, the heat. It is more resistant to different temperatures, as well as it's lightweight, so you're able to move in it with better mobility. As Deku's like, wow, this is all great. This is all amazing. Man, I really love this suit. I really wish I could keep it forever. There's only one problem, Deku. It causes you to be a nudist because it's in its prototype phase. Unfortunately, it doesn't really last that long, and if it takes too much damage, Deku turns naked, which once again makes Bakugo laugh, and it's amazing to see just him reacting to it. So here we get into a quick montage for how Hatsume and Melissa basically put Deku through the ringer with their hero support items, where he basically has to climb over pits with spikes, or basically have to save himself from drowning, as they're going through all of these different scenarios, as Deku's just wanting to stop and take a break, and Mei is like, okay, sure, we can take a break. Doop. 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 Oh, it seems as if we've broken the system. Uh-oh. As we get to see like the entire USJ basically beginning to collapse, where they say there are simulations that we didn't even expect for. Oh no, everything is going wrong. But luckily enough, we do have other heroes here. And by other heroes, I specifically mean Bakugo and Kirishima, because unfortunately, Kaminari and Mineta are useless because Melissa is here. But luckily enough, they become more useful by Bakugo literally throwing them away and telling them to stop stuff. As we also get to see Kirishima trying to save Deku, and Deku, in the heat of the moment, is able to save Melissa. But unfortunately, Mei Hatsume, with her craziness, decides to jump into danger, jump into the support items, as something is about to come and crash into her. And unfortunately, Deku isn't fast enough because he hasn't gotten used to his new suit. But luckily enough, Melissa has a new support item that is able to wrap around Mei Hatsume in a very compromising position, I may remind you, but is able to save her nevertheless. And as Melissa is beginning to chastise Mei Hatsume, as everyone is being thanked for trying to rescue Deku, as well as Melissa apologizing to All Might for everything that she's caused, she begins to chastise Mei Hatsume about why she was jumping into that pile of stuff, as we see that she was able to retrieve the costume that Melissa made, as she begins to compliment Melissa with her design on the suit, and how she's very entranced with it, and how she thinks that it's very cool, and how she's very impressed and interested in it, which shows that this disaster brought them together. Now they're able to work together to create a suit that could be very beneficial to Deku. So now we end the chapter with them basically being best friends, and how they say that by working together they're going to be a killer team, and how they've learned something from each other. How Melissa has learned that she isn't as creative because she's only basing her designs on previous designs, and how it's impressive that Mei Hatsume has all of these designs in her hand. And Mei realizes that, hey, she may have to take more consideration to the ideas of the companies that she's going to be working with, since, you know, she's going to be working with companies. And as we see Deku and All Might basically thinking like, wow, I can't believe they're finally on the same page. we get probably the funniest scene of this entire chapter as we see Mei Hatsume and Melissa Shield turning to Deku and saying, all right, let's get back to testing, as Deku's like, after all of that, really? So yeah, Deku's going to be tortured once again through all of these trials and tribulations just to make these two girls happy. Deku, the protagonist. You have to realize that sooner or later, Deku. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this team up mission chapter. And let me just say, I really found this chapter to be very interesting. Mainly because we get to see two scientists that we thought that we would never see working together, aka Mei Hatsume and Melissa Shield. Especially Melissa Shield, because if anything, if this team up mission is considered canon to the My Hero Academia canon, it means that at the very least her father is healing from the incident with the two heroes, which is even mentioned in this chapter, but also shows that she is hopefully going to play a bigger role in the series when it comes to Deku being a hero. And there's actually an additional chapter that I really want to review. I won't review it now, but I will review it later, that involves Melissa Shield's past, and I can't wait to bring that up too, because I think this one and that one go hand in hand, and that may be something I review next. But yeah, I just really enjoy the fact that Melissa is becoming more into the story. Even if it's on a side story, I would really like for her to be in the main story a little bit more, because technically I believe she is canon, just not the events of the two heroes movies. But just seeing how she could potentially be in the same vein as her father, David Shield, to All Might, she could be the same for Deku as well. So I think that's very interesting, as well as we get to see Hatsume, who's already supported Deku not only with his costume but creating gloves that he can use Air Force with. Just having them both be able to support Deku in this way will make Deku progress more as a hero, you know, once he get out of his edgy phase. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to hopefully see them moving forward. Hopefully we can actually see this team up in the actual manga, because what we saw in this chapter was very funny. I found pretty much every interaction between Mei Hatsume, Melissa Shield, as well as with Deku and All Might just very interesting. And just having like the peanut gallery as well, and what Bakugo does with Mineta and Kaminari, that was also funny. If anything, it was showing character development and character growth for two different people, specifically Melissa Shield and Mei Hatsume, while adding a lot of comedic elements to it. And I just really like this slice of life type of My Hero Academia content. Many people may not like it, but I personally do. So yeah, I really did enjoy this chapter. So yeah, not really much I can say about this chapter right now. That's pretty much all I want to say. Hopefully you enjoyed this chapter. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. And if you did, leave a like down below. Leave a comment about what you thought about this chapter and whether or not I should continue doing the team up missions. Specifically, if I should cover the team up missions in the second manga volume when that officially comes out. I may do that. I probably will do that. Depending on if it's on Shonen Jump's app or if I actually get the actual sort of tankobon for it. I really want to buy these for myself. So if you really want to help and support me, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to be notified from whenever I upload more My Hero Academia content. So yeah, do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!